Hello and welcome to the video. I hope you enjoy. 3, 2, 1, let's begin.
Yes, working is good. All right. We'll dive straight into some of these topics. We've got 4 from last talk, and then we've got a whole bunch of charms to talk about. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got Mighty Servant of Leuko. Leuko.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to
I
pronounce it. Don't
I'm
ask
not
me.
very good with names myself, but this is how you spell it. And we're gonna have a look at it now. Okay. Mighty Servant. Have we not spelled that? There you go. Okay, so it's an item. There we go.
Yep.
So
What is also a
yeah.
construct.
Okie dokie. Okay. Well, do you want to kick us off with reading it? And
I'll read it.
yes.
Named for the worlds who famously employed it, the mighty servant of whoever, Ludicolo, is fantastically powerful. A 10-foot tall machine that turns into an animated construct one piloted.
Cool.
Crafted in a gleaming black alloy of unknown origin, the servant is often described as a combination of disproportionate dwarf and oversized beetle. The servant contains enough space for 1 ton of cargo and a crew compartment within, from which 2 medium creatures can control it and potentially execute a spree of unstoppable destruction.
Mm-hmm. So there's a
Tales
giant
from the
mecha,
servant's
basically.
Yep. Tales from the servant's origins involve more conjecture than fact, often referring to otherworldly beings, the mysterious barrier peaks in Orthan, and is supposedly related to the device known as Machine of Lum the Mad. The best details of the device origin and operated can be found in the Mine of Metal, a tomb of artificial secrets that connect the device to traditions of the Lost Omen people, which was written by Lum the Mad several times over granddaughters Lum the Mistrito, which he reconnected the long dissembled mighty servant Ludicoya. Dangerous attunement. 2 creatures can be attuned to the servant at a time. If a third creature tries to attune to it, nothing happens. The servant controls are accessed by a hatch in its upper back, which is easily opened when there are no creatures attuned to the artifact. Attuned to the artifact requires 2 hours, which we undertook as a part of a long rest. During the time, you must be inside the servant, interacting with the controls, while crew members are attuning themselves. Any creature or structure outside and within 50 feet of the servant has a 25% chance of accidentally targeted by a destruction fist attack once during the attunement. The process must undergo every time a creature attunes to the artifact. Controlling the servant. While any creature are attuned to the artifact, attuned creatures can open the hatch easily as any other door. Other creatures can open the hatch with a successful DC 25 dexterity check using Thieves' Tools or a knock spell. A creature can exit the hatch exit or enter the hatch by spending 10 feet of movement. Those inside have a total cover from effects originating outside of it. Blah. The control within the creature allows it to see outside without obstruction. While you're inside the servant, you can command using these controls. During your turn for each attuned creatures, you can command them in these ways. Open the hatch or close the hatch. No action required. Move the servant up to its speed. No action required. As an action, you can command the servant to take one of its actions in its stat block or some other action. While the creature provokes an opportunity attack from the servant, you can use a reaction to command the servant to make a destructive fist attack against one creature. While there's no creatures inside the servant, it is an inert object. There is a ghost in this machine. Upon its death, the soul of the mighty warlord Leuko was drawn into the artifact and has become its animating force. The servant has been known to attack or move its own accord, particularly doing so if it will cause destruction. Once every 24 hours, the servant, at the DS discretion, takes 1 action while unscrewed. If the servant loses half of its hit points or more, each creature that attuned must succeed on a DC 20 saving wisdom saving throw or be charmed for 24 hours. While charmed this way, the creature goes on a destructive structure spree, so you can destroy structures and attack any unattuned creatures inside of the servant. Starting with those threatening the artifact, preferably using the servant, if possible. Self-destruct.
Mm-hmm.
By inputting circular levers and pressing vital pulls and button presses, the servant's two craftsmen can cause it to explode. A self-protection code is not revealed to the crew members when they attune to that effect. If the code is discovered, the DM determines how. It requires two attuned crew members to be inside the servant and spend their action on 3 consecutive rounds performing the command. Should the crew member begin the process of entering the code, though, the servant uses its ghost machine property to turn the crew members against one another. If the crew members successfully implement the code, at the end of the third round, the servant explodes. Every creature in a 100-foot mile radius sphere centered on the servant must make a DC 25 dexterity save. On the fail save, the creature takes 87 25d6 force damage and 87 25d6 lightning damage and 87 25d6 thunder damage. On a successful save, the creature takes half the damage. Objects in the area take triple damage. Creatures inside the servant are slain instantly and leave no remains. This does not destroy the servant permanently, rather than 2d6. They slay the parts: the left arm, left leg, right arm, leg, lower torso, and upper torso drop from the sky in random places within 1,000 miles of the explosion, and it is brought within 5 feet of another one piece, and the pieces reconnected and form the servant. The servant can be destroyed in 2 ways. After its self-destruct, it discovers pieces can be melted down in the forged chambers of its ancient creators, or it can be if it strikes the machine of Lum the Man, both artifacts explode in eruption at 3 times the size and 3 times the damage of the servant's self-destruct property.
Nice.
So what do you think of this artifact?
So it's a giant mecha, basically. It kind of reminds me of a few different mecha anime where it's like we're uncovering this artifact, and then they go into the cockpit, and then it's revealed to be a giant mecha of some type, you know. So lots of interesting ways to do that. Yeah. What do you two think about it?
Well, I looked at its stat block and it's freaking tanky.
Oh, epic! You got so we've got a friend in chat, and they've Elton John concert. That's awesome. Was it epic? I bet it was epic, right? But yes, what do you two think about this giant mecha, and how would you guys use this in campaign? How would you use it?
If I would use this...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how would you use it both as a DM in your games, and then if the DM gives you the opportunity to pilot this?
As a DM, it's a nice way to have a staged boss fight.
Yeah.
At the end of the campaign. Imagine you have something like a beholder or something like that sitting in this thing. It would be hilarious. And you defeat the robot, and from it emerges a floating orb, 10 tentacles at the side, each with an eye on it, and in the center, a single eye. As the second stage of this boss fight starts.
You would have to be high level to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you really want to be evil, you make a death tyrant fight at the end. Oh yeah, I found out a funny thing that I will probably try in your campaign, Gabe.
What?
You can opportunity attack healing spells with the warcast speed.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't.
Cool.
Yeah, but for this thing, it has bludgeoning damage immunity.
Yeah.
Oh right, it does.
Yeah.
It is.
It has.
No,
I feel like this thing has.
No, it doesn't have bludgeoning
Nearly
damage.
all.
It has. Oh, it has immunity bludgeoning damage. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And piercing and slashing resistance.
Oh, so Tuffy Healer is the person in the chat, and they're like, as a DM, I would have it as a boss at the end, guardian a capital, or something. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah. Trying to think of a few animes where it's like we've got a giant mecha at the end of like so it's like a fantasy sort of thing, and then it turns out to be a giant mecha. But yes, I can definitely see.
It's resistant. It has immunity to acid, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, poison, psychic, and radiant damage.
How would you fight it then?
It has resistance to piercing and slashing.
Exactly. So that's my question. So how would you go about fighting this thing?
So actually warlocks are good against it.
Mm.
It's not resistant to force.
Yeah, and Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast and force damage. Okay. And other ways.
Get your barbarian going with a broadsword or with a greatsword or a great axe.
So lots of chopping. Okay.
Yeah, because it has only resistance to slashing damage.
Not immune. Yeah.
Lightning. It has lightning. Oh, it does not have thunder.
No.
So electrocute it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
It's what else? Oh yeah, we haven't talked about its actions. It has regeneration, so it can recover 10 HP every turn.
So that's what it looks like, everybody. A big mecha.
It has.
I do like the golden black armor. It looks awesome. So yeah, like you said, damage resistances, piercing and slashing. It's got immunities to all of them.
Almost all of them.
Well, immunity to psychic and how you would normally stop a big monstrosity, but it's like, nope, immune.
Also, it cannot be grappled.
Yes.
It
It
can't
has
be
blind
grappled.
sight and a high passive perception, actually.
It's immune to blinded, charmed, deafened, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, restrained, stunned, or unconsciousness.
Yeah.
So you have to destroy it. There's no mercy.
Yeah, but then it's got regeneration
But
too.
I really see this as a 2-layered boss fight at the end of a campaign.
Yeah.
If you really want to fuck up your players with it.
Yeah.
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 It also has magic resistance.
Yeah.
And
It has regeneration, magic
can't be
resistance.
stunned
It
and
can
can't be stunned or restrained
jump.
either. It's crazy. Yeah.
It can jump up to 50 feet, and then it has a crushing leap. If it jumps at least 25 feet as part of a movement, it can then use the action to land on its feet in a space that contains one or more creature. Each of those creatures must be pushed to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the servant and must make a DC 25 dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 4d12 bludgeoning damage and is knocked prone.
Yeah. Also, it's got blind sight, so you can't even blind it anyway. So, yeah. Okay.
And what I like about it, it actually has a proficiency bonus of +2.
Oh, it's immune to blind anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Interesting.
Why does it have a +2 in charisma?
Because that are the lowest saves it actually has except intelligence, and because it's a construct, it is not intelligent. But it has a certain wisdom.
Yep.
But because those scores are so low, he has proficiency in those.
Cool.
Is there actually anything else? This thing? This
Not
thing has
really.
too many resist immunities.
It's just a tank. That's all it is.
Yeah.
What would you do if your player was given this?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, one, how would the players fight it, and then two, how would you fight it as you give it to the players? Then what would you use to fight it with? You know.
I would use it I would probably use it as in like an entire campaign thing where people are trying to rebuild it and like a villain is trying to use it.
Yeah.
If the players figure it out, they get to keep the construct.
Oh, I see. I see. Quite cool.
It's a big reward. It's a reward if they figure out what they're actually planning to do with this thing.
Like it's almost like they've gone to different places and getting different components of this machine. or trying to stop it from getting created. Yeah.
Yep.
This thing as a kaiju one-shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
High-level
Yeah.
characters, and you fight a freaking god with it.
Yeah. God fighting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
You're basically fighting a great worm, or
Yeah.
multiple even,
Yeah.
and that's your go-to thing for it.
Yeah. All right, everyone to their mech suits.
How
Let's
to
go.
man it?
Yeah.
Who to put into this? I would actually say the best person to attune to it are fighters.
Yeah.
Or clerics.
And
No.
Yeah.
Fighters.
Okay.
Because they've got extra
You know why?
actions.
Yeah.
Because you can do like action surge and do more.
But
Yeah.
I would recommend a artificer in this.
Well, there's 2 slots, so you can have a fighter who's the pilot, and
Oh,
then an artificer who's.
The thing is,
Yeah.
you can actually have more persons in there.
Ah.
With its like in compartment where it can carry a lot of cargo, they just can't control it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a artificer, I think they can heal it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So mechanics, basically.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And the last thing, I would actually a ranged caster, because
Mm.
you can actually look out, out of it. And if you have a caster that has a lot of ranged casting, maybe warlock, maybe a high-level wizard,
Yeah.
you can just zap people out there.
That's true. So not only have you got to contend with this construct on its own, and then you've got to deal with a whole party as well. You know. So yeah, interesting. I suppose it'd be good to, if you've unleashed dragons upon your world type deal, and it's like, okay, so how on earth is the player supposed to do anything against it? And then it's like, oh well, I've got some secret technology that can help. What could possibly help? And then you jump into several of these. It's like, I've got these, so just in case. Go mech suits, and then you have giant kaiju battles. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yep.
Also something good to throw at level 20, level 20s parties as well, Because they'd be like, yay, we are invincible. And then you're like, haha, giant mech suits. Yes. Brilliant. Okay.
Only thing about it is, the party does not have... I'm right now looking into it. Does the construct make the attack?
It doesn't really say.
Yeah, it takes an action. That means you can actually hit something with it that you cannot see, because it has blindside.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That
okay, so
somehow weird and somehow funny because it has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to the next item, I guess.
I was going to say, any final thoughts on that before we move on?
Funny for high level, at low level, that is campaign breaking.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so next thing is Marvellous.
I think you could make a... Wait a second.
Yeah,
I think you could make a campaign where this thing has no attacks. Where it is only a, that you make a homebrewed version of it that has no attacks.
Okay.
And it is only used for,
Rebel.
It is pretty much... imagine a high fantasy steampunk campaign where these things are like carriers for heavy stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I see this thing without attacks.
Okay. Cool use of it, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So next thing is Marvellous.
Marvellous
Pigments. Yes.
Marvellous Pigments, wondrous item, very rare. Typically found in 1d4 pots inside a fine wooden box with a brush, weighing 1 pound in total. The pigments allow you to create 3-dimensional objects by painting them in 2 dimensions. The paint flows from the brush 2 from the desired object as you concentrate on its magic. Image. Each pot of paint is sufficient to cover 1,000 square feet of surface, which lets you create inanimate objects or terrain features such as a door, a pit, flowers, trees, cells, rooms, or weapons that are up to 10,000 cubic feet. It takes 10 minutes to cover 100 square feet. When you complete the painting, the object or terrain feature depicted becomes a real non-magical object. Thus, painting door or on a wall creates an actual door that can be opened to whatever is beyond. Painting a pit on a floor creates a real pit, and its depth counts against the total of objects you create. Nothing created by the pigments can have a value greater than 25 gold. If you paint an object greater value, such as a diamond or a pile of gold, the object looks authentic, but close inspection reveals it's made from paste, bone, or some other worthless material. If you paint a form of energy, such as fire or lightning, the energy appears but dissipates as soon as you complete the painting, doing no harm to anything.
Nice. So thoughts on this?
This is basically used if you want your players to get creative.
So okay, same question as with the previous item. How would you use it as a DM, and how would you use it as a player?
I always had an idea for as a DM to have like a resistance movement. Have these to be able to like supply the people because they can make swords and stuff, or like do all the items you need. And have one of these, but their marvelous pigments are running out.
What I had in mind is an enemy themed around this thing. Only change I would do with the item, it can actually create living objects. So what he is doing, he is drawing these semi-realistic paintings of creatures and releasing them.
Okay.
And it is like, and his entire fight is like how he, with each of his actions, creates one of these things. And you have to actually come through to him to actually defeat him.
I feel like I've seen that combat before in some games, but I can't remember what.
Characters that can paint animals or beasts are pretty common, I think.
Yeah.
Because it looks fun to have a character draw like stylistic beasts and monsters to defeat his enemies.
Yeah. It'd be cool actually, because what you could do as well, if you make it like living beasts, what you could do is have like your big bad or your bad guy or good guy, whatever, have like almost completed but not fully completed paintings on themselves. And then when they go into combat, they finish their paintings and then releases loads of different animals at you. That sort of deal. Cool ideas like that. Or inanimate objects could be things like a jetpack out of nowhere. That'd be hilarious. It's like an Inspector Gadget but with paint. So yeah, lots of cool ideas. And definitely, you can create like escape routes and stuff for bad guys with this. It's like somehow they painted a hole in the wall, or like they have like hidden pigments for like escape purposes, so they're handcuffed and bound, and then it's like, oh, but they got out. How did they do that? And we know that they've painted the handcuffs, and broke out like that. So yeah, so a few cool ideas. How about you, Hand?
I have an idea for to use to the players. They could either. Yeah, I already mentioned the one like DM thing. They like the resistance thing for it. But as a player, I would just go ham and make a whole bunch of random stuff and like try to help people as much as I can with it.
Yeah. Okay.
I can look at the barking. Give me a second.
Mhm.
So after that, there's a whole bunch of other things I would use them for. I've got on the phone. So that's basically all that's happened.
Mhm.
I don't really know what I would use it for. It would just depend on the situation.
Cool ideas, you know. Okay.
Yep.
Are you ready to go to the next item?
Yep, I'll be right back for a second, but you can go on to the next one.
Okay. Platinum Scarf is the next item. There you go.
Do you want? Should I?
Would you like to read it? Yeah?
Back.
Oh, you're back.
Welcome back.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah. I can. I'm just reading. Okay.
Yep.
This scarf is made out of sturdy cloth and covered in platinum-colored scales.
Okay.
As an action, you can pull a scale from the scarf and speak a command word. When you do so, you choose one of the following effects. Breath of Life. The scales disappear and you or a creature you touch regains 10d4 hit points.
Awesome.
Platinum Shield. For an hour or until you dismiss it, no action required, the scale becomes a +1 shield, which you or another creature can use. A creature wielding the shield has the immunity to radiant damage.
What?
Radiant Hammer.
That's crazy.
For 1 hour or until you dismiss it, no actions required, the scale becomes a magic light hammer, which you or another creature can use. The weapon deals 2d4 radiant damage instead of the bludgeoning damage. Normal for a light hammer. It deals an extra 2d4 radiant damage to chromatic dragons. Once 3 scales have been pulled out of the scarf, no more scales can be removed until the next dawn. When all the missing scales grow back, if you pull the scale off a scale, you don't speak a command word, it disappears after 1 minute. Okay.
Wow.
Funny item for a cleric, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or a paladin.
Also, probably a gift from Bahamut, from
Yeah.
the Platinum Dragon's followers. You know,
Yeah.
kind of makes sense to work in the fighting the chromatic dragon campaign. You know.
I think the most useful thing on this list was probably the healing.
Well, I think
Yeah.
they all have their obviously.
Probably. Or
They all have their
That's-
uses, but also the Platinum Shield and Hammer can be given to others, which is very useful.
that's only 25 hit points.
But it's get back up on your
On-
feet type
Mm.
use, isn't it? So
But I feel like it would be fun to have a character, like a paladin, have just no weapons
yeah,
and just a scarf where he just pulls out this hammer and this shield.
yeah,
Would be. I feel like it would be also fun to have it as a item for a NPC.
yeah.
We just change it up a bit, where he actually can has these items whenever he wants them, and not that he only has them
Well, the cool
3
thing
times
is
a
you
day.
can certainly take this ideas like the Platinum Scarf and turn it into other coloured dragons, like scales.
Yeah.
You know, for like good guys or bad guys. You know, so if you're doing a slightly evil, you know, campaign for working for the chromatic, you can have it like a red dragon scarf, and have it slightly, you know, different. You know, so instead of radiant damage, it'd be like fire damage, and like flaming shield. You know, red shield. You know, red dragon shield type thing.
Mm.
So it would be.
What I
immunity
feel like
to-
for this item is a like silver dragonborn
Yeah.
that is actually just has this scarf
Yeah.
and just walks around with
That's
it,
very
and
cool,
when
yeah.
he gets actually attacked, he just draws out his 2 weapons.
You could definitely have him
Fun.
like a, you know, a bear, like no weaponed warrior walking around, you know, and then it's like, and then when he's in combat, then yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Certainly, if he's already a silver,
paladin,
imagine if
radiant
he's
damage output would be
yeah,
insane.
like silver dragonborn or whatever, and then this is like his ancestral scarf, handed down from his actual bloodline, sort of thing. Yeah, lots of cool ideas with that. Yeah, I like that. Any final thoughts? So, how would you use it in a campaign as a DM and as a player, both of you?
DM probably for an NPC or to give out after for a
Quest item,
high level character that is actually a follower of Bahamut.
Yeah.
I
As
would.
a player,
Yeah,
you
it's
can go
okay.
first.
One of you. Yeah.
We continue, Tim. Tim, go.
Yeah.
As a player, make a high level later on. Get this for a high level character that is a follower of Bahamut.
Yeah.
I actually want to play one in a bit that
Yeah.
maybe a dragonborn paladin that just is like this follower of Bahamut.
Yeah.
And maybe get him maybe that he is actually really devoted and just that it is his end goal to become one of the knights that wear these scarves.
Oh, the scarf could be literally like a badge of office as well,
Yeah.
It could be like you're the you're one of the order now, So yeah, cool ideas.
I feel that for a character.
Yeah.
For me, I would just use it as possibly in a ruins, and once they find it, people would ask for the item of followers Bahamut.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Just to add interesting conflict.
And to actually make it a bit more if you want to give it your players earlier but don't want to balance it a bit, I would say you can make the attunement actually only followers of Bahamut, which would make it so much more fun that one of the characters actually has to be good, or they just have to give it to the order because they can't do anything with it.
So that'd be a good way to help players go down the paladin route. Yeah, so they could be a warrior already. Then that'd be, a good carrot, for us for a direction. Yeah. It definitely could also be like a mission that the Bahamut priesthood or whatever has given the party to go and get this item off of people who have been hidden it, And it's like, can you go and get this item, and then the item actually has stats to it, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's that item. So we'll move on to the next one. So Robe of the Archmage is the next.
Because I had to go with a generic one.
So Robe of the Archmage. Here we go.
God, that thing is so strong.
Yes.
I had to go for one common one, which what everyone knows about.
Robe of the Archmage. So there's a few robes, but yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So would you like to read that one?
I will.
Yeah.
This elegant garment is made from exquisite cloth of white, gray, or black, adorned with silvery runes. The robe's color corresponds to the alignment with the item which the item was created. A white robe is made for good, gray for neutral, and black for evil. You cannot attune to a robe of Archmage that doesn't correspond to your alignment. You gain these benefits with these robes. If you aren't wearing armor, your base armor class is 15 plus your dexterity modifier. You have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects, and your spell save DC and spell attack bonus for each increased by 2. That's it.
Get that onto any spellcaster. It is so strong because sorcerers, warlock, and wizards don't get so high AC, so that is really good for them. Advantage on saving throws is just
definitely makes them less squishy. Yeah.
Most often. Primarily in a high fantasy campaign. If you're playing low fantasy, not so much, but still fun.
Yeah.
And then you have a attack and DC bonus of 2.
Yeah. So
Combine
yeah.
that with most other strong items for wizards,
Yeah.
and you get yourself a hilariously high DC, save DC, and attack bonus.
Yeah. Well, it's also so with the alignment thing, you could also have 3 of these: a black one, a white one, and a grey one. You know, for so you could have them like to help direct the players down different paths again. You know, like be interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this? So, how would you use it in the as a DM, and how would you use it as a player?
Depending on the game, if I was doing a hard campaign, I might give this to the players for like a big quest. If it was, but if people are if the players constantly break the game, you're not getting this very easily.
Give if you're having a all good character like group, give this thing to a for example, what do you have in there? For example, give it to an evil Archmage to just buff his stats a bit. It's
you
not
can't.
much, but it is good for like having a bit more, bit stronger fight in a campaign.
Okay. Cool.
Because it already is a like, for example, an Archmage is already strong enemy, but if you have like this really high level party, most Archmages aren't that strong.
Yeah.
They're still tough, but
It'd be pretty
so
funny
you
to
can just
have a character who literally wears each of the different colours, and then later on in the campaign you realise he's actually like their brothers. They're brothers of the Archmages all fighting each other, and they've all got one of each of the robes.
yeah.
And
I
then
see
even
that
further
in a
down the
campaign.
campaign, you realise it's the same guy. he just changes moods to like go to different
Oh
ones.
no!
That'd be hilarious.
When you have the evil neutral and good Archmage with mood swings,
Exactly.
or even different personalities.
Yeah. Literal mood swings that changes his robes. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean that's one. So, any last thoughts on that, or shall we move to the next item?
We're not doing items anymore after this, remember?
We're on to charms.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got Charm of Animal Conjuring.
I will go over all of these.
Okay.
Charm Animal Conjuring. This charm allows you to cast Conjured Animals, 3rd level version, as an action. You can use this charm 3 times, and the charm vanishes from you. We should explain what charms do before we do anything else, though.
Okay.
Where can I?
Dungeon Master's Guide.
Oh.
Charms are gifts you can give to the players for doing certain things. Some creatures can give you charms, like Chewingas or very powerful spellcasters. That was what their intention was. There's also another level to higher things with our permanent charms, but we're not going into those today. There's other charms in different books, but the Dungeon Master Guide is going to be the one we're focusing on today.
Yeah.
Ones. So, Charm Animal Friendship. You can conjure animals 3 times per day.
Cool.
On the 3rd level version. What do you guys think?
Yes. You become a mini druid, or if you are already a druid, you get extra slots, so that's cool. Yeah. And I've got like visions of like warriors or classes that don't have access to much magic to like beast companions, come to me type thing, you know.
Yeah.
You could quite, I could quite see having like a few animal charms actually, or a few different charms around someone's neck, and they're like a totem like warrior, or something like that, and they conjure different animals to them. That'd be cool.
I was thinking about having a charm shop, like you just have this mysterious figure what can sell like your charms to you.
Yeah.
You don't know where he comes from or what he does, but he can give you certain charms, and each charm costs a certain amount of money.
And you
So
can
you
call
can have one charm.
you can call the vendor Prince Charming. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Charm. Yeah. Vanishes from. Yeah. So.
Yep. So next one
Yeah.
is Charm of Dark Vision. You can just basically, this is the basic one where I thought like, this is perfect for people who don't have Dark Vision because you can cast Dark Vision spell as an action, no components required, and use it 3 times until the charm goes away.
Yeah.
So that was Charm of Dark Vision, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. So if you know you're going to a dark place, ask the charm person like, I want a Charm of Dark Vision.
Yeah.
And get the charm.
Then Charm of Feather Falling is the Feather Fall effect, the benefits of the Feather Fall effect for 10 days.
Yep. You get the Feather Fall effect for 10 days.
Yeah.
We're
Funny
going
for a campaign that actually like if you have a campaign where you go give that one of the players before they actually go into like limbo or something, or have that as somebody who sells this charm in limbo right at the start, so that this is actually like, here, if you don't want to fall so fast, here. Or in the elemental plane of air, for example, would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, the next one is the post with the Charm of Heroism, I guess, which gives you 10 temporary hit points, which lets you use a potion of heroism as an effect, as an action.
Yeah.
Which gives
you
10 temporary hit points that last for 1 hour. You're also under the effects of the Bless spell, no concentration required. So basically, if someone's going under a great adventure, you can have this divine intervention, divine power, just say like, under like a paladin or something, like the gods will protect you, and give them this potion of heroism as you go into an epic battle.
I really like the idea of just having this character which is so strongly blessed just by the gods that he just stacks like effects on him.
All the effects, just all from charms.
Yeah, and he's this like it would be fun to have like this whimsy guy who was like because of his birth time he was declared the chosen one.
Yeah.
And he was like multiple times blessed by the gods, but he actually is not that good of an adventurer, but all these charms stack so much that he actually goes into these adventures and comes out alive just because he has so many charms on him that just protect him.
Yeah. So he's got lots of charms like reflect damage and shit, and they're throwing damage at him, and they're getting killed by themselves, type deal.
Yeah, or for example, he's just there and just like he has the sword and attacks somebody, and he has like this +2 modifier, but he has like 3 bless effects on him at the same time.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even have a sword, to be fair.
Yeah, and such things would be fun.
Yeah.
I always wanted to see what the DM can come up with, the like charms, because there's 50 charms in D&D right now, and from all the books.
Yeah. Well,
And some people don't even consider some of these charms like proper charms. So if you include those charms, but are not like included, but they don't count as proper charms. I don't know why, because they're basically just other effects. Like
so we've got Charm of Heroism, and then we've got the last 3 are Restoration, the Slayer, and vitality.
Yep, and then I'll go over other charms because this is what we went a lot faster than I thought.
Yeah, that's fine. 9 lives.
I would
What's that?
actually.
Drops there. So okay. So go on.
Charm of Restoration.
Mm-hmm.
You get 6. There's 6 charges in this charm. You can use an action to spend some of those charges to cast the following spell: Greater Restoration for 4 charges and Lesser Restoration for 2 charges. Once all the charges has been expended, the charm vanishes from you. So basically, you get a free Greater Restoration and a Lesser Restoration, or 3 free Lesser Restorations.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So like we've said, good to buff in characters. Yeah.
Mm.
More good to like cure characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tim?
So this charm is really fun to have, just like have this have like a if you want to make characters that are actually like not healers but are like medics or something like that, that are not quite clerics. You can just make NPCs with these charms.
Yeah.
Maybe also set them on a recharge, that they recharge, for example, 1d4 plus 2 charges per day,
Yeah.
which would be fun to have like a character that is actually not a healer, but is like charmed by has this goddess charmed by God or something because of his service or anything,
Yeah.
but he can't actually wield magic himself. Which is a fun way to make an NPC that has a different concept than just having spell slots
Yeah.
and being a cleric.
Well,
He's
you can
just
also
this random dude
yeah.
who's running around on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Hey, you're petrified, and to put like a potion, like throws something on this petrified dude, and he unpetrifies and something like that.
Well, I was also thinking, you could have like a wood carver, okay, who makes the charm. Someone like a pixie or someone like that who like isn't a necessary part of the group, but comes along and like gives them charms for every so often. You know, something like that, or you're working for like the fairy court or something, and these are like these are like their help to you. You know, they're like, yes, and choose whichever charms that you wish, you know, type thing, you know, because once they're used,
like,
they're used, you know.
I also see those being given out by a druid.
Yeah, yeah.
For
like,
example,
yeah.
to just have this guy who is just like carving them, because I like
Yeah.
the idea of a just wood carver or
Yeah,
anything
same.
like that.
Same, yeah.
That is not so strong himself, but he actually, it would be fun if he couldn't use them.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. I already have the next one we want to talk about after this. Tim, Chris, and Dan, you cannot tell Chris I told you about this charm though, because Chris didn't want you guys know this was an actual option. What could happen in Rhyme and the Frostmaiden?
Okay.
Okay, but we have to go to others.
Yep.
The charm of the Slayer is actually fun if you have like if you have a campaign where you have like where the characters have to defeat like a few enemies of the same type in a short time.
Yeah.
For example, if you have to defeat a couple of giants, or you have to
You should probably tell them what it does first.
Oh yeah, one sword in your possession becomes a Dragon Slayer or Giant Slayer. DM's choice. For the next 9 days, the charm then vanishes from you and the weapon returns to normal. It's just fun to have like a Dragon Slayer or a Giant Slayer.
Yeah.
At your disposal for a short time.
Yeah.
And I actually like the idea of weapons being dragon slaying.
Yeah.
Or giant slaying, especially dragon slaying.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of having a like dragon that like a group of assassins that actually uses daggers of dragon slaying. Because a dagger is such a weird weapon because it's so small. But then you have this guy who just has a dagger of dragon slaying. which is not useful against most people except you are a dragon, then it's pretty fatal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Also,
So
I
that's
like
the
those two
Slayer.
items.
And then we've got Vitality next.
Yeah.
The charm allows you to give you both potion of vitality as an action. Once you do so, the charm vanishes from you.
Yeah. So good for
And
like. Yeah.
it cures any exhaustion you're suffering and cures any disease. And you gain the net max amount of hit points for every long rest for the next 24 hours. So any hit dice you spend. So basically, any short rest, you get the max amount of hit dice from.
Yeah. I can
your
certainly
long
see
rest.
like a bracelet of charms, you know, to be used in right circumstances for parties that don't have much in the way of magic assistance, you know.
It would also be a fun of I imagine a character that is that like carves these charms, but they are useless if he tries to use them, or if he tries to sell them or exchange them in any way.
Yeah. Their magic is literally fey magic, you know. So yeah, that
And
sounds
he's
good.
like, "Oh, you're nice people. Here, take this. Okay, should we give you? No, don't give me anything for it. And that's useless.
Yeah.
Okay." And you have this like charm.
Yeah.
I actually liked it also for a character that makes magic items,
Yeah.
which would make it here, this magic item.
So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different charms. You know, like Snowwalker and Storm and Swollen Hag and Crystal Heart and Ice Troll. Loads of charms
Before you
for
do
people to check out. I wasn't gonna check any more of these out, but yes.
There's one more charm I want to talk about, which is the most best charm I say in the game. Tim, you cannot say that I told you this to Chris.
Okay.
Because this is an option in Rime of the Frost Minion, but the chances of you getting it are so slim that I'm just going to tell you anyway.
Go on.
Okay.
Vladimir's Spark. You gain 1 foot of height and become proficiently heavier until you stand 20 feet, 1 feet tall and weigh 7,700 pounds. When you weigh 9 feet tall, your strength score becomes 19 unless it's already higher. For every 3 additional feet in height you gain, your strength increases by 1 to a maximum of 23. Armor and clothing you are wearing and weapons you are carrying magically increase your size to match your growth.
What is this item that you're talking about?
It's not an item. It's a charm.
Yeah, charm of what?
I can't say it. I'll just type it in.
Yes, type it in. And then we can get it up on screen, so we know what you're talking about.
Vladimir Spark.
Okay.
If you are a recipient of a greater restoration spell or cinematic, the charm vanishes from you, and you immediately shrink down back to normal size, along with any armor, clothing, or weapons in your possession. So you basically become a frost giant. What do you think?
Fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this little tidbit again. You have to be a certain class to actually get this spark. You cannot get it, Tim, no matter what.
No. Funny. But I like the idea of charms. I have never really read into them. But yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. And that brings us to the end of that load of items to talk about. So yeah, closing thoughts on charms, basically. How would you use them in as DM and players? I mean, we went through most of them, but in general, yeah. Closing thoughts, guys.
I think they are really good.
Yeah.
I think they can be used. I think they should be used more by DMs, just not the last one I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That one's only for like legendary items or legendary circumstances.
It certainly adds to the toolkit of the DM, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see a few ways of using these, like we've said. So, like someone carving them out of words, blessings to help with different.
I'm right now actually planning to use them for the thing I'm writing for Mythos.
Yeah, brilliant.
So yeah, I think we should start like a. We should start that I'm actually offering it.
I was planning to do a campaign on Sunday, Tim, honestly.
Okay.
But it's going to start at 8 in the morning. So, in my time. So.
Well, we'll,
Wait a second, 8 in the morning. What would that be for me? You are 7 hours earlier or later?
We'll figure it out after the stream.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Well, thank you everybody for stopping by for the chat. And yes, obviously you can find all of us in the Discord. You know, there's Discord links to the realm of Mythos of Ethos where we all hang out. Everyone's more than welcome. And yeah, thank you Tim and thank you Hans for the chat. And we'll catch everybody next time.
Yep.
All right, see you later, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. And please comment, like, and subscribe. I enjoy reading through the comments. Until we see you next time. 3, 2, 1, and we're out. Boop.